Hey crafty cuties, welcome back to part 2 of the spiral bound junk journal. If you're just hopping on this video and haven't seen part 1 and you want to see kind of my thought process and how I came up with picking the pages and everything else, then check that out. But if you just want to see this portion, more the decorating portion of the journal, that's fine too. So we left off working on the front and back cover of the journal, and that's where we're gonna start off here. So this is the inside covers here, and so now it's going to be time to decorate the cover. Guys, sometimes I have like an idea floating in my head when I'm working with a certain paper line or whatnot, and sometimes I'm just clueless. And this one, I just don't really have any ideas, but I do know I like these papers. Now, I was thinking of doing a fully holographic cover, but I'm just not sold on it. So what I think I'm gonna do though is go ahead and cut this down, and I think I might layer this paper on and then maybe do like a journaling card or something like that. So let's just start with that. I think that's what I want to do. And so I'm going to cut this down to 8 inches, I believe. Is that what I want? 8 inches. I think the cover is a little bit bigger than 8 inches. Yeah, so we'll do just a tiny bit bigger than 8 inches. Okay, and then 6. And I think I'll do a piece of the holographic paper on the back cover as well. Now, I don't normally decorate a back cover too much, so just the plain scrapbook paper should be good. Maybe I'll want to add something, but let's focus in on the decorating portion. Let's see how that fits. I think I might need to trim that down a little bit, which is no fun because my paper trimmer is not working great. I still haven't got a new blade for it, so let's hope. Actually, you know what? I should use my other paper trimmer. Yeah, this one works way better. It's just smaller, so I just want to cut off like a sliver. There we go. Off this one too. Okay, set that aside. I did not think that this whole process was going to take so long. So even though you might be seeing part 2 a day or so after, oh, I like that paper too. I'm doing this all at once. I'm just breaking up the filming. Okay, well, now that I see this, I'm thinking, at least for the back, I think I'm just going to go ahead and, yep. So I'm just using my Tombow Mono Aqua Glue here. Now for the pages, at least right now, I'm not planning to do a whole bunch of decorating. In my journal making time, I've kind of come to realize that less is more. Because I actually use journals myself, I just know that when a journal is too decorated, it's really hard to use, and I don't think I'm the only person. I enjoy a decorated journal, but I have a hard time using it. I also enjoy decorating journals for other people, but I always feel like other people are probably also intimidated. I think I've even been told that they've been intimidated on how to use it because they don't want to ruin it. So I'm gonna try hard not to over decorate this. I'm gonna take this Distress Oxide, since it's like a chalky ink, and just ink around the edges a little bit. I think that might look kind of cool. I'm not sure if you can see that since this is so reflective. Now, as much as I wanted to do a whole journal with the holo, I don't know, I think that it might get beat up pretty easily, so I don't want that to happen. So we'll just go ahead and glue this down, and like I said, I think I'm just gonna kind of layer on some papers and then add a journaling card. I feel like that's kind of like my go-to decorating style when I'm not sure what to do, and I usually really like it. And I think I'll add like a few layers of maybe some cheesecloth, like so that we have some layering going on. Okay, now I can figure out, do I want this to be the top? Yeah. Okay. Now you do want to keep in mind too that when you're using spirals, it is going to cut into the side, and that's something you don't have to worry about when you are doing a journal like this, because you have, you know, nothing's gonna be jammed into the sides there. But okay, so now we're gonna go ahead and cut this one down even smaller. So that one was 6 inches, and I think this one I'll do like 5 3/4. We'll just start there. Wait, is that right? This one's short. So, that might be good actually. Oh wait, no. Never mind, guys. I'm thinking 8 inch. That was 8 inches. Let me think this through. All right, I almost messed that up. I'm gonna cut at 7 1/4 because I do want some of that hollow to show. And then we have 6 inches across, which I'm probably gonna do like 5 1/2. Is that what I want to do? Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now I had this scrap cut down, if you guys remember from the first video, and I kind of just put this on here to see what it looked like, and I really like that. It does cover up like the moons and things, but I like it, so I think I'm gonna go for that. And then I cut this out. This was on a journaling card, and I really like how it looks, but it says believe in magic, and I liked these words better, which says we are made of stars. Now just a side note, I don't really, these sayings don't really resonate with me or anything. Not that it matters, but I'm just doing this for fun. So I was trying to figure out how I could cut this out and place it on here, but I don't want to mess things up. So, okay, let's just get gluing down. Oh, see, these are double-sided paper, so it's like, I feel like sometimes I'm missing out on some of the prints. But let's just get gluing down so that we can get on with the show. Okay, try to get that as straight as possible. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, and I do think I like this because that kind of lightens it up a bit. I'm going to take my ink once again. I should have done it around these edges, but that's okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and glue this one down. Again, trying to make sure. I feel like that looks a little crooked, but it's funny because when I look through the viewfinder, it looks different than it does in real life. Now for the final. All right, I think I'm actually gonna go for this print, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and use this because I like how it looks. I like how the font looks. So we're just gonna go with it. And then I want to use a little bit of cheesecloth in between the last 2 layers, but I'm really liking how this is looking. I don't think I've done something like this before. I sometimes do maybe like 2 layers, but I've never done like this, and so I like how it really pulls your eyes in to the center. But I want to add a little bit of interest as well. I have some cheesecloth here, and thank you, Megan. And I think I like this color. It's a little muted. Why was I gonna say that so weird? So I'll just cut some of this down. Okay. I think I'm just going to add a little bit of glue there. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it. This would look really neat if you had foam tape and it had it lifted up a bit. I don't think I'm gonna do that since it's a journal cover, but if you were making this for yourself and knew that you weren't gonna like be taking it in and out of a shelf, I am all for dimensional pieces, but I do try to keep my journal covers somewhat flat. Maybe not too many dimensional pieces. Maybe sometimes like a button, just because that's actually sewn on, but that's just my own preference. I like how it looks, but I just don't think it's very practical. There we go. Okay, I'm actually loving this. Closer look at the final. I might add some little touches to it, but we're gonna leave it now because I am happy with it. And then we have our back cover. So now we can move along and decorate everything else so that we can put this lovely journal together. And if I didn't note in the beginning, remember that I'm showing you 2 different binding methods, but I'm just gonna focus on decorating one journal with you. And so I'll just bring in that second journal at the end so that we're just focusing on one. I hope that makes sense. It's gonna be less confusing. So now what I'm going to do, I kind of like to work on the inside covers now. So I'm going to take my pages and just kind of set those aside. We'll decorate those together next. But I do like to add maybe like a pocket or something like that. Okay, so for the inside of the front cover, we're going to go ahead and make a double pocket. This is a nice spot to have some tags and journaling cards for use in the journal. I'm going to go ahead and, so I'm going to stack these like this. And I'm going to go ahead and punch the top of this so that we have a pretty lacy top here. So I'm just going to use, this is like a Martha Stewart punch, I believe. Okay, we're over at the sewing machine. I'm going to go ahead and sew this onto the very front pocket. And then we're going to sew the pockets together. So I'm just going to sew around. So now I'm going to take both the pockets and I'm actually going to sew them onto a piece of paper, and then so this will be a pocket on its own, but then we'll go ahead and glue it into the journal. So I hope that makes sense. So there will be 2 pockets on this. So I'm just going to sew around the 3 edges like so. We're just going to go ahead and glue this straight down to the inside cover. And don't forget, again, we're going to be, putting those spirals through the side of your journal. So you do need to keep in mind when you have something like a pocket that there are going to be holes that will go through the sides of this. But I already had that in mind and it will be just fine. Go. For the inside back cover, I'm actually just going to put this glassine little bag here. I think this will be perfect for either a tag or, a journaling card, something like that. And I will probably create that at the end. When I'm starting to decorate pages, I'll usually start by kind of setting aside any of the pockets or bags, and I will start with the more plain pages. Now again, I'm not going to decorate nearly all of these pages, but I am going to add a couple pockets and things, so I just kind of go through until I get an idea. And this is a great time to bring along all the scraps you had and all those things that you cut down, because those are going to be perfect for tags and pockets and things like that. So I'm going to set this pile out of the sight and I'll just be kind of grabbing a page as I go. And sometimes when I really like a print, I'm just going to leave it alone and not do much. I don't love this print, so I'm just kind of looking through my scraps like I don't really have an idea right now. but I think I will go ahead and I'm gonna do one of my more favorite page decorations, and I'm gonna create a little double pocket decoration. It's gonna be different than the one we just did though. I'm trying to cut off this little thing here, but I'm gonna leave it. Okay, so what I mean is it's gonna be like a side pocket, and there's gonna be 2 spots for tags on the side. So I just kind of eyeball the size. I'm gonna actually fold it in half. And I'm going to take my circle scallop punch here. And I'm just gonna cut. That will cut. So hopefully you can kind of see. So then I'm gonna go ahead and sew around the 3 edges, but then also the center. So then you have 2 separate pockets. I do like to decorate like the center part, so like right here. So I'm gonna put some really pretty sari silk, and then this little piece of kind of sparkly, kind of like cheesecloth, and go like that. And then I think I'm just gonna add this little label, but I'm gonna sew through all of that. So I'm just hold it down for a sec here. So I'm gonna take this to the sewing machine and get this sewn down here. That page. So when I'm done with the page, I'm just going to stick it over in my done pile, and if there's a page that I just want to leave alone, I'm going to also just set that in the done pile. I can always come back and change something later. I have this cool little cutout of a vintage kids book, so I want to add this, and I'm going to do like a flip, I think. So I have this little scrap here, and I'm just folding it in half. I'm going to go ahead and glue it on. Makes sense like that, the back, so we get this little tab, and then we'll just glue it down to the page. Then you have a fun little flip, that way you can still use the page, and always keeping in mind that those spirals are going to come to the side, so if I had this too far over, it might get stuck in the binding, so just keep that in mind. Okay, so I'm going to use this scrap here, and I'm going to actually just take it and I'm going to fold, and we're going to make a little fold out page. I should use my bone folder, but I don't know where it is right now. Okay, now since the spiral bound is going to be on this side, I want to go ahead and really make sure. I could measure, but I'm just going to eyeball it, and I just want to make sure that it's not going to be too far over on the side here. Okay, so for this one, I'm just going to go ahead and glue that down on this little flap here. These are just really simple page decorating ideas that I think, again, are really practical and easy to use. There we go. So I'm gonna take a bit of washi here, and just for looks, use a little bit of washi to hold that down. Speaking of washi, let's go put that one aside. I think I'm gonna do something that I used to always do, which is just a simple thing to do, but it adds something to the page, is just take a little bit of washi. Place it on the top like that. Like it's not much of anything, but I think it's kind of fun, especially if it's on a blank page. So we'll just keep that one as is. For this one, I'm gonna use this clear pocket that I have here and actually just place this down so you have a good spot for like a journaling card, something like that. This one I'm just going to take a little clipping from that vintage children's space book and just use, whoops, I'm taking a tiny little bell and putting it on this paper clip here. And then I'm just gonna go like so. I'm gonna add a few little pieces of Sari silk ribbon, kind of like a tab, to a few of the pages. This kind of reminds me, if you guys have been watching me for a while, you know I used to love putting tons and tons of lace on the edges of pages in my journals. I do still like to do that. I guess I just haven't done it in a while. So I'm gonna do that to a couple here. There, I did 4 that have the little tabs, so that'll be really cute peeking out the sides. So now we're basically left with our other types of papers and these pockets and envelopes. I don't always like to do a ton to these, but like this one, I might just add some ink around the edges, and I might fill it with some scrap paper or something to peek out. There we go. That I'm just gonna leave alone. I think I will leave that alone as well. And I think I will put this in the, I'll have the spirals going down this side, so that will be open like that. The envelope, I just added some ink, but I'm also going to add this little kind of journaling card cutout, and apparently my phone's overheating. That's never happened before, just being inside. Okay, so we're done with this. Pretty sure that we got all of that on camera. Now this is a page protector that I had cut up, and so there's an open side here. Even though we're going to bind this in, I'm actually just going to go ahead and take my sewing machine and sew around all 3 edges, and I'll be right back. This can also be made into a really fun shaker, but I am going to leave the top open and let the recipient do what they want with it. Okay, so this is just a little fold out piece of ledger paper, and I'm just gonna go ahead and take a scrap piece of paper, and I think I'm just gonna glue it. I took some time to kind of look through the last few pieces while my camera was cooling off, so I have a few things just planned out to finish this off, but I'm just gonna glue that down like so. And so it's still fold out, but you just have a little bit bigger piece of the fold out, so you could maybe put a picture or something like that here. Okay, for this one, set this last one aside. We're almost done. This is some coffee or some ink dyed paper. We're gonna keep it crumbly like so. Another scrapbook paper. This is like 12 inches by 4, I think. And I'm just gonna go ahead and fold it into kind of like an envelope type shape, and I'm gonna sew down the 2 edges, and so now I have a little envelope. But I'm also gonna take this, I think I'm just gonna glue the bottom here, because then you can use that as like kind of the closure to your envelope. So you just need a little bit of glue at the bottom. I'm gonna glue that all the way down like so. I think I'm actually gonna trim this down a bit. Actually, I'll use this right here. Well, okay, I'm gonna trim a little bit first. Make sure I didn't trim too much off. Then just gonna add a little bit of ink to this right here. I was thinking while I've been decorating, and I'm gonna go ahead and glue this down just on the page, but I was thinking that my decorating style has definitely changed a lot throughout the last couple years of journal making on YouTube, and I realized that I used to add so much more lace, like every single page would be decorated. But like I said, I have really changed my decorating style to what I think works better for people to actually use journals, because I do want the journals to be used. And so just want to say that if you find that about yourself as well. That's more than okay for things to change. I gotta add a little bit more glue though around the edges here. And for this last page, I'm just gonna make a little like collage in the corner of this scrap paper here. And I think I'm just gonna staple that on just for some more interest, I guess. All the way across. And then I'm thinking just making this one big pocket. Do I want to do that? Yeah, I'll take some ink, even though there's a little bit of a tear right here. I'm okay with that. Okay, like so. And then yeah, I think for this one, I'm just gonna go ahead and glue 3 edges. So I believe we're all done decorating. I might add some finishing touches, like when I go through it at the very end. I always do that, but for now, I think we are good. So now you just have to go through and figure out which way you want everything to go, which order you want everything to go. So you have your cover here, your front cover, so I like to put that over, and I just kind of go through for the first page. I might actually choose this one, but I like to have kind of like the prettiest page. That's usually how I choose, or something very interesting. I also like to have vellum sometimes for a front page, so I'm just gonna kind of go through, and I think I might do that. You can always go back, but I like to just kind of change it up and have different pages and different sizes go next to one another. Like I have some smaller sizes and things in here, and so I just like to really have it changed up. So and I try not to have like all of the decorated pieces next to each other. Just a doily. And so I'm just gonna finish doing this, and then at the very end, right before binding, in the next video, I'll kind of explain a few more tips and tricks and things that you want to keep in mind before you start the binding. But we are getting very close to being done, guys. So I am going to stop this video here so that in the next video we can just get on to binding. And I hope that you got some decorating tips for journals that you are working on, or maybe some inspiration. And so I'll see you in the next video, guys. Bye.